First of all, let's remember that APIs are functions. In this case, where the GAM is enabled in a knowledge base, they make it possible to communicate with the GAM database containing information about users, roles, and so on. It's a different database than the one associated with the application described in the knowledge base. Now that we've introduced them, let's see how these APIs are used in our knowledge base for a travel agency. Remember that we've implemented an options menu with the slide menu user control. This menu is always visible in the application at runtime because we've included it in the master page. Let's suppose that there's a new requirement, which is that the options included in the menu must vary depending on the logged-in user. We've already enabled the GAM in our application. So, let's run the backend provided by the GAM. We press F5 and select GAM Home. We log in with username admin and password admin123. We select the roles option and we see that the administrator role is available. This role was automatically created when the GAM was enabled. Now we will create a new role called Sales Agent, and to do so we click on the Add button. We define its name and also the description, Sales Agent. We confirm. And in this way, we've created a new role. Let's take a look at the users. We open the Users option. User Admin, which is based on the administrator role, was automatically created when enabling the GAM. Now let's create user P. Jones with the Sales Agent role. We select Add and enter the details of our new user. The password will be pjones123. We enter it again to confirm, pjones123. Now let's associate it with the new role. We open the Roles option and select Sales Agent. Now let's go back to GeneXus. Remember that in the Start event of the WP Menu web panel, we're invoking the data provider that causes the menu options to be loaded. We propose to change this code so that the role of the logged-in user is identified. To do so, we will use the GAM user function provided by the GAM APIs. These APIs are located in the GAM library folder. Through this GAM user external object, we will be able to use the methods available and obtain, among other things, the roles associated with the user. So, let's define a variable called GAMUser in the WP Menu web panel with GAMUser data type. This data type, as well as others that we will see later, were automatically created when the GAM was enabled. In the Start event, we click here and type ampersand, GAMUser, =, and call the GAMUser function followed by a period. And lastly, we select get. In this way, we obtain the logged-in user. Even though in our case, each user has only one associated role, they could have several roles, so we will need to run through a collection of roles. We will obtain the user's names from the single roles associated with them. To do so, we will define two new variables. The roles variable of GAMRole data type, which is a data type that represents an instance of the role collection, And we will also define the role name variable as a character of 20. We go back to the start event and complete the code. We type, for the variable roles in the variable GAM user dot get all roles. And between brackets, we need to indicate a variable to save the potential errors that may occur. So we return to the variables and define the errors variable of GAM error data type. We set it as a collection. We return to the code, and between brackets, we indicate the errors variable. Next, we type the statement role name equals roles.name. In this way, we obtain the user's role name. And we close with N4. Lastly, we call the data provider that loads the menu by sending it the logged in user's role in a parameter. Finally, we save. Now we open the DP menu data provider that will receive the logged in user's role. We define the role name variable of data type character 20 and declare the corresponding parm rule. We go to the source. So far, we've defined the loading of several general options to display on the menu. Now we will set conditions for the options to be loaded depending on the role received. If the logged in user has the administrator role, all the options included in the menu will be kept. If, however, a user is logged in with the sales agent role, only certain queries will be offered. So we change the code. We add a filter that if the role is administrator, all these options are displayed. To do so, we indicate where role name dot trim to eliminate blank spaces and evaluate whether it is administrator. Now we will define that if the sales agent role is received, the options work with countries and work with attractions must be loaded. We repeat the entire slide menu data group with the corresponding options. And we add a condition that checks if the role name received is sales agent. We save. Let's see it at runtime. We press F5. We select, for example, work with country, log in with the admin username, password admin123, and the following menu is displayed with all its options. We exit the application and enter with username pjones and password pjones123. And we see that the menu options have changed.